I sat alone in my cold, dimly lit cell, counting down the days to my impending doom. Death row was a place of despair and agony, where hope was a distant memory. The weight of my sins pressed heavily on my conscience, and the haunting memories of my past played on an endless loop in my mind. It had been 3 long years since I was sentenced to die for the unspeakable crimes I committed. The monotony of prison life had transformed me into a hollow shell of a man, a shadow lurking in the darkest corners of this forsaken place. The night was particularly sinister, as the sound of raindrops echoed through the desolate corridors. The rhythmic tapping against the window pane seemed to synchronize with the beating of my heart, filling me with a sense of unease. But there was something else, something out of the ordinary, a presence that lingered beyond the reach of my senses. As the clock struck midnight, a thick fog slithered beneath the cell door, enveloping the room in an eerie haze. My breathing grew shallow, and a chill ran down my spine. The oppressive silence was broken by a whisper, barely audible, but distinct enough to send shivers down my spine. "John," the voice murmured, sending tremors of fear coursing through my veins. "You cannot escape the consequences of your deeds." I clutched the metal bars of my cell, my knuckles turning white. My eyes darted around the room, desperately searching for the source of the voice, but there was nothing to be seen. I could feel the weight of invisible eyes upon me, scrutinizing my every move. "You must pay for what you've done," the voice continued, growing louder and more menacing. "The souls of your victims demand justice." My mind raced, attempting to rationalize the unexplainable. Was this a manifestation of my guilt, or was there something truly supernatural at play? I had heard tales of restless spirits seeking retribution, but I had always dismissed them as mere fables. Now I found myself questioning my skepticism. Suddenly, the cell door creaked open, slowly revealing a corridor shrouded in darkness. A cold gust of wind swept through the cell, extinguishing the feeble flame of hope that had flickered within me. Dread consumed me as I stepped out of my confinement, venturing into the abyss. As I navigated the labyrinthine hallways, the air grew heavier, and the whispers intensified. The condemned souls seemed to echo through the walls, their tormented cries ringing in my ears. Each step I took was accompanied by a symphony of despair, an unsettling chorus that grew louder with every passing moment. Finally, I reached the end of the corridor, and before me stood a decrepit chamber, illuminated by a single flickering light. I hesitated, my heart pounding in my chest, but something propelled me forward, an irresistible force compelling me to confront my sins. Within the chamber, I saw a grotesque figure standing amidst the shadows. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly fire, and a malevolent smile adorned its twisted face. I recognized it as the embodiment of my darkest fears, the personification of my guilt. "John," it hissed, its voice a chilling echo of the voice I'd heard before. "You thought you could escape, but you cannot outrun your conscience." Terror paralyzed me as the figure recounted the atrocities I had committed, each word driving a stake deeper into my soul. It taunted me with the pain and suffering I had inflicted upon innocent lives, tearing away the thin veil of denial that had shielded me from my own monstrous deeds. In that moment, I understood the true nature of my punishment. It was not just a matter of legal retribution, but a profound reckoning with the demons that resided within me. The specter of my guilt had materialized, exposing the depths of my depravity and forcing me to confront the consequences of my actions. As the figure faded into the darkness, leaving me alone with my remorse, I collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by the weight of my sins. The horror of my existence had transcended the confines of my cell, engulfing me in a maelstrom of torment. In the end, it was not the imminent execution that terrified me the most. It was the realization that the true horror lay not in the supernatural, but in the capacity of the human soul to commit unspeakable acts. And as I awaited my final judgment, I knew that the punishment I had inflicted upon myself would far surpass any fate that awaited me beyond the prison walls.